Christopher Brannon with the Coeur d'Alene Public Library and the Cooperative Information Network.
And I'm George Williams. I'm the Next Search Catalog Coordinator for Northeast Kansas Library System in Lawrence, Kansas.
And this week we're going to be going over a few modifications on check-ins, particularly the modals and alerts that you will get on various types of check-ins. We are sponsored by koha-US. You will find all of our videos in the Learn tab under Watch koha-US original training videos. Today I'm going to start off with a quick modification that I have for our libraries. And I'm going to pop over here. I've got an item on hold, so you can easily see this. I'm going to check this item in. And normally when this item is checked in, this is the modal that you'll get. But I've found that before our enhancement, these buttons just kind of blended together, and patrons were, or excuse me, staff were not necessarily sure which button they should be pressing. They just press the first one and they don't get the slip. They have to go back and check the item in again and then print the slip. So a couple things there, you're wasting some staff time, and also staff were having to recheck the item, and so it was kind of bloating the stats with that because they have to retrace their steps and check the item again.
Sounds like it'd be awesome if you could highlight that button, make it stand out a little bit.
It would be. So I'm going to go into here. Let me ignore that. And the setting that I have here is just a single line. I'm going to remove the remarks there, but I'm going to remove a section real quick here. And basically, I've got several buttons that I'm looking for in those modals. So I'm looking for different modals and specific buttons, and I'm going to enhance that and turn that, use that CSS to turn that button green. This is actually the code, the hex for green, and you do have to have this important on there. That will make sure that that goes through, because there could be, I think there were some other
there's some other CSS overriding it.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's important to add the important at the end of that. But I'm going to just add this as is, save this, and I'm going to check that in. And you're going to see that nothing happens here unless you hover over it. What's happening with this is they've applied some type of image to this button, and this image is preventing you from seeing that green background unless you hover over it. And when you hover over it, it removes that image. So through some digging, I figured out what it was that I needed to stick in there to get rid of that. And I'm going to grab that code. So I added this little piece, another piece of CSS. Now, I am doing this from jQuery. This could just as easily be done in CSS, because I am just referencing specific buttons I'm looking for and applying some CSS. So I could easily do this in CSS as well. In fact, this is probably one that I will change over, and if I put this in the jQuery library, I might offer a CSS alternative if I get that working. But it's just one I hadn't gotten around to converting over to CSS. I prefer CSS over jQuery anytime, because CSS is faster, cleaner. It applies. It doesn't wait for the page to load before it makes the changes. So anytime I can move over to CSS entry rather than jQuery, I will do that. And so I'll play around with this and see if I can't add that and include that with the code in the library.
I feel the same way about it. The CSS, making the changes in the CSS is just easier.
It's so much faster.
Yeah, it's so much faster.
So now, let's check that in. Now that color appears there consistently. We could do more to make the text stand out a little bit more. There's some shadowing involved in there, so you could play with that a little bit more, but this is just a quick and easy way of doing this. And I haven't had any complaints about the font on this particular button, but it makes it very obvious which button you should be defaulting to. And I have that on several different modals that you know, we usually consistently need to print the slip. So I've made those the defaults by highlighting those particular buttons.
Yeah, I think in some cases I may have the ignore button disabled completely. So, but I'm not sure if that's true anymore.
All right.
What I've got is very similar. When we talked about doing this today, I mentioned this is something that I just wrote. The issue that comes up with us, since we have, 50 libraries and we're all sharing things, the issue that often comes up is, what do I do if I check something in and I get this no item with barcode number message? And we go over this time and again at meetings because, it's a kind of a, particularly since we started, a few years ago, we started having the system automatically delete items that had been lost or missing for more than 13 months. And so a lot of times you'll have something where the borrower checks out this book, free technology for libraries, they keep it overdue, they get billed for it, then the item gets deleted because they keep it overdue for more than 13 months, and it's deleted automatically. And so there's nothing on the barcode or on the book that indicates that it's been withdrawn. It's just been withdrawn automatically by the deletion process. And so then the patron finds it and they stick it in the book drop and it gets checked in. And the question always comes up, what do I do with it when it says item not found? Or no barcode with, no item with this barcode number. So what I did is I used some jQuery to add content to this text area. So this what to do, this first line here is what to do with no item barcode when no item barcode occurs at check-in. This is a link that goes to a best practices page that I put on our training website. And so it just walks through the steps. If the item belongs to your library, follow your library's procedures. That's one of the issues, is that every library has a different procedure what to do when they have a book return that's already been deleted. If the item belongs to another library, send it to them. If you can't determine, follow your library's procedures for a donated item. We have some items that get returned. They'll have a barcode on them, but it'll just say next search catalog, and you can't tell from the item sometimes who owns the item. So that was the first link. The second one is a link that goes to our item dashboard report. This is the report that we did a whole series of videos about. And what that link does is it actually is grabbing the item number from up here, and it's plugging it into the link for this to run this report. So the staff member, when they come across one of these, they don't even have to copy the barcode number into the report. They just have to click on the link, and it's just going to run that link. And then the second one, so this one you can see it was deleted on December 17th last year. So, and then this final one is another report, and what it does is it will search for this barcode number in the notes field and the description field in the account lines table, so that way if this item, if somebody is paid for this item, or if somebody's been billed for this item, you can track it back to that borrower with this report. in many cases. There's some cases where an item has been deleted and that barcode number gets removed from the notes and the descriptions. There's different reasons for that, and there's actually work being done in the Koha community that will allow libraries to say whenever an item is deleted, if there's information in the account lines table, it'll store that as a note rather than as in the barcode field or the description field. But the way that this works, is it's just looking for this. Unfortunately, this background message doesn't have an ID.
Right.
It has a class, and it's in another div that has a class, which is in another div that doesn't have an ID. It just has a class, and so that's why this is such a long string of classes to make sure that I get the right one. And this problem note can occur in a bunch of different ways. And so it's specifically looking for the one where it finds the text "no item with barcode," and then it's appending this these links in there. And there's part of this up here that I didn't. I put all this together except I forgot part of it that I want down here. So this this Java up here, it's getting the it's getting this text. The text it's getting is that item barcode number, so that when it runs the report or when it builds that link, it's putting that item barcode number straight into those report links so that it can just run the report
Right.
straight from that. So it's a little bit more complicated because you've got to isolate that barcode number, but I'll put it all on the jQuery wiki and the Koha community wiki. So, but this, was done, because it's hard to train people at 50 different libraries on what to do because it's really hard for us all to get together, especially since COVID. It's really hard for all of us to get together and do consistent training. It's hard to get 50 people together to do anything when it's 3.5 hours from one end of our area to the other. So,
Right.
but this way, the information they need to answer that question, what do I do when it says no barcode found? It's all right there in the message that pops up on the screen. So,
I think that's great. I think that's a fantastic idea to have links to workflows.
yeah.
We on our circulation page, we have links. I believe I've shown that before in a previous video, where we have links to several of our policies and procedures in just basic circulation procedures in there. So all staff have an easy way to go find that information and pull it up. But I like how you've incorporated links to those specific situations within the workflow. So it makes it even easier for the staff.
Yeah, they don't see it unless they actually scan an item that doesn't pull up a barcode. So
Well, that's fantastic. And that is it for this week. As always, if you have any comments or suggestions, please subscribe to our channel and make a comment, like our videos so that we know that you're out there watching, and stay tuned for the next video in 2 weeks. Until then,
we'll see you later.